and you're here to make a difference on the planet. And making a difference on the planet is not about arguing about political stances, political views. It is what it is right now. We're not in a voting time. We're not in a getting new leadership time. We're in a time where this is what it is. And the best thing we can do is go pick a flower for a complete stranger and say, hey, I don't know the last time that somebody gave you a flower, and I just wanted to give this to you. I mean, how beautiful, how beautiful. I have such a disparity with loved ones on what's happening in the political landscape. It's becoming more and more difficult to navigate this, and it's heartbreaking for me. How do I get out of it and back to healthy relationships with people close to me? There are several things coming through on this. People close to you. Let's start defining what's close to you. How aligned are you? Now, not from a judgment, not judgment, but how aligned are you in your heart space with them? If they are someone that makes your heart glow, I would put them in a different category than people who are, dare I say, sucking from you, sucking your light is what I mean. You're like they're draining you of your energy. Those people, I would start to think, maybe it's time that I just allow them to be them in their own space, and I don't call them maybe as often. Maybe I don't reach out to them as often. Maybe I don't engage in this back and forth with them. Maybe I just really make a conscious effort. And so maybe you're just kind of letting people go. I'm not saying you're ghosting them. I'm not saying you're pushing them away. I'm just saying that you're allowing them to be them without you being in the mind mess of what it means based on their beliefs versus yours. So just kind of feel into like who are these people to you, because they may not be as close to you as you think. They may have been at some point in time. And so let's look at this as an opportunity to just fine tune the people that are in our inner circle, in our inner sphere. If they're not in our inner sphere, but you said people close to me, so I'm going to speak to that. But if they're not, then for sure, just allow that person to just, dissipate out of your reality. They'll come back in when it's necessary. And again, there's no pushing, no shoving, no, I'm not talking to you anymore. None of that. Actually, that will make things worse. So you want to just really come back to the heart space and be really gentle about your delivery. And just sometimes maybe it's not returning a phone call, but not out of spite. So people that are close to you, people you have that heart resonance with, here's a tip. I think what happened this morning was very divine. It just came out of me. It wasn't premeditated. I wasn't expecting to go from flowers to Trump. And I just said what came to me, which was maybe there's just something really big and beautiful happening in the background of this, was what I was feeling. Those weren't exactly the words I used, but just seeing the divinity in everything. And it doesn't mean that you agree with how it's being done. I don't agree with how it's being done. There's lots of things that create discord for me with what's happening right now, especially in the political landscape, and I don't even follow it. The reason why I'm saying it is that I find a way to say, I'm going to trust that the powers that be are doing the magic that need to happen. And that we have to also recognize that the collective conscious is going through a massive transformation. Massive. Otherwise, these people wouldn't be in these positions and the powers at play. It's not just our country, the United States. It's many other countries. Other countries are at war over religion, over a lot of different issues. So we have to stay centered here. This is our calling. Because if you're on my channel, if you're on my channel watching this, you are someone who is waking up to some degree, or you're very awake already. And you're here to make a difference on the planet. And making a difference on the planet is not about arguing about political stances, political views. We don't even know these characters personally. So it is what it is right now. We're not in a voting time. We're not in a getting new leadership time. We're in a time where this is what it is. And the best thing we can do is go pick a flower for a complete stranger and say, hey, I don't know the last time that somebody gave you a flower, and I just wanted to give this to you. I mean, how beautiful, how beautiful. I also say that during that conversation, going back. So if you're hearing this question separately from the whole show, later on in replay, the gentleman that gave me the flower, he also started talking to me about his hearing loss because he was having a hard time hearing a few things, and he had in hearing aids, and he was telling me how challenging that was. And I just remember there was a moment in time where I was like, oh gosh, I got to get home. Like, what am I doing? I gotta get ready. And I was like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I can just sit here and listen for another 5 minutes if I want to. And so I did. And I think, I had this beautiful connection with this person that meant nothing and probably everything all in that moment, because he felt heard. And I was able to say, hey, like, good job, bravo for wearing your hearing aids, because why are we worried about what other people judge? I have friends that are in their 60s and 50s. I think she's and maybe late 50s, who has hearing aids, and she's like really bold and proud of it. So I guess the thing that came for me out of that is caring less about what other people think, and taking the time to make the connection, to just, the extra few minutes that it took me to have that conversation felt beautiful to me. Ultimately, what I'm saying about this question is bring it back to listening to others, having boundaries, and staying focused on the heart connection conversations. And when they start to wobble over to something else that feels less heartfelt, they can be passionate. I'm not saying they're not passionate conversations, but if they're not heartfelt, if they're not really going to get you anywhere from a vibrational perspective, because otherwise we're just fighting mind to mind. And I'm just saying, let's join heart to heart. Let's do that more often. Let's do that with others. So for your situation with the people that are close to you, just start doing that. Get back to heart conversations. And if you have to be that bold and that blunt and say, you know what, I hear you, but we may disagree on some things, or whatever comes to mind in that moment to say, but let's go back to the things that really matter. And come up with one or two lines of things you're going to say, like, boom, I'm going to say this when somebody's trying to take me down a rabbit hole. And that goes for everything, not just politics. I'm going to have these little one-liners of, hey, how's your heart today? How are you feeling? Like, hey, what's going on in your life right now? Is there anything I can support you on? Is there anything I can help you with? Just shifting it right out of the gate is the best thing to do. Because then you don't have to go down the rabbit hole of things that you disagree on and get into energy that just does not help anyone. I'm happy to hear anybody's comments. I know there's sometimes a lot of hot buttons around this. By all means, comment and I can elaborate more if you'd like. But I think the points are made. Okay. All right. Each week, I am so happy when you're here with me live. I love having the personal interaction. I love your questions. If you are watching on replay, you can also put questions in the comment section, or you can go over to bethbell.me/question and enter your question there. And if you haven't already taken the State of the Heart assessment, it's a wonderful little assessment. You'll find out where your heart is, and you'll get the 5 steps to healing your heart back to wholeness. Because even if your heart's whole today, things happen. It breaks our heart, and having a little extra tool in your box is helpful at times to just get you through. There's also the Awakening and Healing Handbook on bethbell.me. There's tons of tips, tools, techniques, and modalities in there. If you haven't already read the book, Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics, Unraveling the Mind to Unveil Illusions, I think you'll find some really interesting stories in there. I talk about my awakening and all of the things that I got myself into and how I got myself out of them. And I think that we can commune together in some of life's most common experiences that are heartbreaking. There's also the Herpes Handbook, and there is, what's the other one I have? Psychedelics Resource Guide. We just talked about that one. There's lots of resources, lots of things on bethbell.me. I would love to see you over there. And if you like anything that happened today, I would also love if you like and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Every Sunday at 11:11 a.m. Pacific time. I'll see you here live. And until then, wishing you much bliss and love on the journey. Namaste.